You are welcome to the Messiah Revelation Ministry. We are welcome to the End Time channel. If you are a first time subscriber, you are welcome and you are encouraged to share the videos. Today we are looking at those who are scared about the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. The Hebrew Israelites are the chosen of God scattered all over the world. Who is afraid of the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites? Who is scared? Who is resisting the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites? And we are looking at 7 categories of people and nations, those who oppose the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. And we are focusing on the first principality who is scared about the awakening of the Hebrew Israelite, and that is Lucifer himself, the chief of the principalities. And he is scared because he doesn't want a Messiah to come. And you remember what he did when he caused fallen angels to mix with the sons of God, caused the Noah flood. And you remember what he did when he caused young Hebrews to be slaughtered because he didn't want the appearance of the Messiah. And you remember what he did in Egypt when he caused Hebrew Israelites to be killed because he didn't want a Messiah to arise. And you know the story regarding Moses, how Moses was hidden because he was on the hit list. So Lucifer doesn't want the awakening of the Hebrew Israelite because he didn't like the Messiah to come, and he doesn't like those who are of the tribe of the Messiah, those who are the children of Jacob, those who are scattered over the world. Lucifer doesn't want the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites because Lucifer is a deceiver and he is a destroyer of destinies, and definitely Lucifer will destroy the destiny of the Hebrew Israelites in order to destroy the covenant that they have with Elohim, in order to destroy the regathering of the Hebrew Israelites who are scattered over the world. The second entity who is scared about the awakening of the Hebrew Israelite is the Antichrist. And there's a reason for that, because the Antichrist will be the incarnate of Satan, and he will be destroyed by the Messiah. If you read the book of Revelation chapter 19, the breath coming from the mouth of the Messiah will destroy the Antichrist. The Antichrist doesn't want awakening of the Hebrew Israelite, because as the Messiah comes to destroy the Antichrist, it is the same Messiah, Yeshua, who will come to redeem and to deliver and to gather the outcasts of Israel and the dispersed of Judah. And so you look at Isaiah, where the Messiah will come to gather the Hebrew Israelites who are scattered over the world. You look at Isaiah 11, verse 11 to 12. You also look at the book of Revelation, chapter 19, when the Messiah comes to destroy the Antichrist, the king of Babylon. And that is why the principalities and powers are scared when they hear about Hebrew Israelite awakening going on at the time when the Messiah is around the corner, and he is coming very soon. So we are looking at the second group of people who are scared about the awakening. And here we are talking about nations. Nations are scared of the people who are doing the awakening, and they are also scared about the people who are the subject of the awakening. So we are focusing on the third group, and here we're talking about nations. And the first group of nations, I call them the Zachariah horn nations. What I mean by Zachariah horn nations is that there's a group of nations. They are the horns of um, the horns of the horse, the horns of the beast that destroy the children of God, the horns that scattered the children of God, and I call them the Zechariah horns. And we can read it from the book of the prophet Zechariah, chapter 1, verse 18. Four horns and four craftsmen. Zechariah 1, verse 18. Then lifted I up my eyes and saw, and behold, four horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, what be this? And he answered me, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. And the Lord showed me four carpenters. So this is going on. Four horns scattered the children of Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. They scattered them to all the four corners of the earth. And the Ancient of Days showed the prophet Zechariah how the children of Judah were scattered. And he also showed them four carpenters who are going to destroy the horns, the nations that scattered the children of Judah. And so the horn nations are scared about the Hebrew Israelite awakening because they will be embarrassed and they will be exposed. Because when they are destroyed, everybody will know that they are the horns that scattered the children of Judah to all the four corners of the earth. The nation that are scared about the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites, these are the nations that enslaved the children of Jacob. And they also stole their land. And they met in Berlin Conference 1884, 1885 to divide the land of Africans for themselves. And now we hear black people talking about being Hebrew Israelites, talking about being scattered by Gentile Europe, and they will be scared. And I don't blame them if they are scared. So we're talking about the horn nations. And one of the horn nations is Babylon. And here we are talking about Babylon, United States. And I'm saying that United States is afraid about the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites, not only inside the United States, but also all over the world, because I believe, based upon prophecy, based upon revelation, and based upon the history of the United States and United States engagement with the children of Judah, I believe that United States is the Babylon spoken of in the book of Revelation, and the angel warned the inhabitants of Babylon come out of her, my people. And it is prophecy that the Hebrew Israelites, they will be commanded to leave the land of the Chaldees, and Babylon is scared if the children of Jacob living inside Babylon, United States, are awakened. So America actually is scared, is very angry, and is very, very unhappy about the awakening of Hebrew Israelites going on inside the United States and all over the world. Because the U.S. is scared about the awakening, the U.S. had a policy during the time of E.J. Hoover, who was director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations in the United States, talking about the 1950s. They had a program. The program was to stop the rise of a Messiah from the black community. And so you remember what happened to the black messiahs inside United States, whether you are talking about Malcolm X, you're talking about um, um, Elijah, Muhammad, whether you are talking, you're talking about Martin Luther King. Um, Martin Luther King was targeted for destruction and humiliation, and he was accused even of being a communist sympathizer. And you remember what happened to Marcus Garvey, and you remember what happened to um, George Floyd, and the list goes on. And it's not only um, a policy. It was not only a policy, it was actually a program. It was part of the foreign policy of the United States to topple black leaders who pose a threat to the United States. And the list goes on. It includes the assassination of Patrice Lumumba, the president of Congo in the 1960s, and that the CIA was implicated. Of course, it also involved the arrest of Nelson Mandela with the assistance of the US CIA, and of course, it also involves the cooperation and the complicity of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency in the overthrow of the government of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first president of Ghana, the first black nation to get independence in 1957. So we're talking about Patrice Lumumba, we're talking about Kwame Nkrumah, we're talking about Nelson Mandela, and they went through hell because the United States, Babylon of our time, is afraid of the awakening of a black Messiah, particularly people who consider themselves as Hebrew Israelites. So we are talking about nations, and we are talking about the Horn nations, the Zechariah Horn nations. We are talking about the state of Israel too. It's another nation that is scared that blacks get awakened. They get conscientized that they are the true chosen of God, the Hebrew Israelites. Why? It's because Israel was founded in 1948, as you are aware. It was through political strategy. It was through machination and through diplomatic work involving President Harry Truman of America, Lord Balfour of United Kingdom, and the Rothschild family. They founded the state of Israel in 1948, purporting to be the state of true Israel. But we are aware. We are warned in Revelation chapter 3, verse 9, and it's important for us to read Revelation chapter 3, verse 9, the admonition of the Messiah, Jesus Christ, who knows who the true chosen of God are. He knows who are the rare Jews. That's why the Messiah said in Revelation chapter 3, verse 9, Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. And so it's very clear that Israel of 1948 doesn't like the awakening of black men and women who are the chosen of God, the Hebrew Israelites. And the Israel has done so many things in order to forestall the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. Israel is scared of the black youth in America. The consul, U.S. Israeli consul in Atlanta, made a statement that they are very scared. Israel is scared of the black youth. The question is, why would Israel be scared of black American youth? It's because of the Hebrew awakening. The black youth in America are awakened that their ancestors came through the transatlantic slave trade. and they were captured in fulfillment of prophecy. And Deuteronomy 28, verse 68 is very clear, and they are aware of the prophecy that is waiting on them. And that awakening poses a threat to the state of Israel. It is not Iran that is a threat. It is not Hamas that is a threat. It is not Russia that is a threat, even though Russia has nuclear weapons. It is black youth, black teenagers in the United States who pose a threat to the state of Israel because they are being awakened. They are awakened by the warning given by the Messiah. He said in Luke 21, verse 24, the children of Jacob will fall by the edge of the sword, the Roman sword, and they will be taken captive into all nations. And Jerusalem, their holy city, will be trodden of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles up. And so the state of Israel is sitting on a prophetic time bomb, because a time will come when the Lion of the tribe of Judah will make those who say they are Jews but they are not and do lie to come and worship before the feet of the true Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites. So Israel of 1948 is sitting on a time bomb. It is a time bomb implicating identity theft of a biblical proportion, um, claiming to be those who are the chosen of God, the children of Jacob. But the Messiah says they are not. They are of the synagogue of Satan, synagogue of Lucifer. And so when we are talking about Lucifer against the awakening, when we are talking about the Antichrist against the awakening, we are also talking about a group of people who claim to be Jews, but they are not. The Messiah, Yeshua, it's not my words, it's the words from the Messiah. He's saying that they are of the synagogue of Satan. We are going to the fifth group of people who are scared. They are scared about somebody saying he's a Hebrew Israelite, particularly when that person is a black man or black woman, whether he is a black American inside America, or he's an Igbo person in Nigeria, or he's in Uganda. He's of the Abu Dayat tribe, or he is an Ashanti from Ghana, or he is a Bantu, or he is somebody who is not aware that he's a Hebrew Israelite, but he sympathizes with the cause of the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. We are talking about the fifth group of people, religious leaders. And why will religious leaders oppose the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites? You have to go to the New Testament. Religious people oppose the Messiah. If they oppose the Messiah in the New Testament, why would they not oppose those who are following the Messiah? Why would they not oppose those who claim that they are Hebrews? And some of them are claiming that they are of the tribe of Judah. And how dare you claim that you are of the tribe of Judah when you are a Negro, when you are a black person? And so religious leaders, they are scared. And here in this category of religious leaders, I'll focus on the first group. These are the evangelicals and the rabbis. The rabbis in Jerusalem, in Jericho, and rabbis in New York, rabbis in Europe, those who are scared that when they talk about the children of Jacob, they assume that they are the Ashkenazi Jews coming from Eastern Europe, and they don't have the stomach to tolerate. They don't have the heart. They don't have the timidity. They don't have the humility to accept that black men, black women are Hebrew Israelites, and some of them are from the tribe of Judah, the same tribe as the Messiah. So evangelicals, they are scared. I'm talking about Euro-American evangelicals. They have a profit to make because it's profitable to support the doctrine that the state of Israel of 1948 is the chosen of God, because there's a lot of money to be made from it. There's a lot of influence and publicity to be made from that preaching. And so evangelicals and rabbis alike, they are scared about Black Hebrew awakening because it's counter to their doctrine, false doctrine, that Israel of 1948 is the true Israel spoken of in Bible prophecy, even though they know that it is the Messiah who will gather the true Israel when the Messiah comes, because the prophecy in Isaiah 11, verse 11 to 12 is very clear. We're talking about religious leaders who are scared about the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. And we've already talked about the evangelicals and the rabbis who are in Europe, they are in America. Unfortunately, we also include black pastors as among those who are scared of the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. Why will a black pastor in New York, or in Somalia, or in Nigeria, in Jamaica, why will he be scared of the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites? He'll be scared because he probably is not aware. He doesn't have the revelation. And secondly, he's scared of what his masters will do. And when we're talking about the masters, we are talking about those who initiated Bible schools, those who are sponsoring their programs. They are scared because they consider the evangelicals and the rabbis are their sponsors and their mentors, and they cannot challenge the doctrines of their mentors when their mentors are saying that the true chosen of God are the state of Israel. How can a black man, a black pastor, challenge that theological orthodoxy? They are scared. And some of these black pastors are scared at all because they don't have the revelation, and they are scared also because of inferiority complex. I'm talking about spiritual inferiority complex. We are talking about the fact that these black pastors who do not preach about the awakening of Hebrew Israelites, I'm talking about them. I'm saying that some of them do not have the revelation that the Hebrew Israelites are the chosen of God. And those who have the revelation, they cannot deviate from theological orthodoxy. They cannot deviate from the doctrines of men, which is coming from the pulpits of their spiritual masters. And most of the spiritual masters, they are in Europe and they are in America. And so the black pastors, whether they are in America or they are in the Caribbean or they are in Africa, they are scared about it. The other group number 6, is the media. The media is scared. The media is scared when they hear about black awakening, particularly black Hebrew Israelite awakening. I'm saying black Hebrew Israelite awakening because when we talk about black, it has the imagery of color, and so they don't want to associate Hebrew Israelites with color, and they are scared of color. They are infusing racism into scriptures, and they are relying on doctrines of men. They've preached doctrines of men for a long time, and they are scared. The media support the manufacturing of misinformation. And so the media is not interested in supporting any ideas or theology or doctrines that run counter to the status quo. The media is part of the status quo. I'm talking about the media coming from the Horn nations, coming from the Zechariah nations, the nations that scattered the children of Judah. I'm talking about the media coming from the goat nations. When I say the goat nations, I'm talking about how the Messiah will separate nations, the sheep nations and the goat nations, and punish the goat nations, and the Messiah will punish nations. And one of the reasons why the Messiah will punish nations is because how the nations treated the chosen of God. I'm talking about black men and women who are the Israelites who are scattered all over the world. The media is scared because if you watch um, the old edition of New York Times, dated May 14, 1948, front page, the state of Israel is born. The media since 1948 has always championed the idea of Israel of 1948 being the true Israel. Even the Ashkenazi Jews coming from Eastern Europe being the Israel spoken of in the Bible. And so they are scared when a black man, a black woman is proclaiming that he is of a Hebrew descent and he is a Hebrew Israelite. We are focusing on the last group of people who are scared of black Hebrew awakening. And here, unfortunately, I'm talking about black people, some black people. Why will a black man, a black woman be scared of black awakening, black Hebrew Israelite awakening? It could be because of inferiority complex, and I don't blame them. History of slavery and colonialism and new colonialism, a history of white supremacy, oppression, and suppression, talking about sabotage. When I talk about sabotage, we know that Judas betrayed the Messiah. In the same way, some black men and women betrayed their country. They betrayed their nation during the colonial period, during the time of slavery. And in the same way, there are some black men and black women who are part of those who resist the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. A black man, a black woman who is against the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites, it could also be due to lack of knowledge, because the Bible is very clear in Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. For lack of knowledge, my people perish. Unfortunately, many people in black Africa, in black America, in black Caribbean, they are not aware that black men, black women who are Hebrew Israelites, who are of the book, and who are the subject of prophecy in Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 60, verse 68. They are those who were enslaved, they were kidnapped, and they were put aboard slave ships, and they were sent into the lands of bondage and the lands of captivity. And so this is the commentary on the category of people who are against the awakening of black Hebrew Israelites. It includes principalities and powers, Lucifer and the Antichrist. They are scared. Nations are scared. The whole nations that Zechariah saw scattering the children of Judah, the God nations who are going to be punished, the nations who will be judged based upon what the Lord told Abraham in Genesis 15, verses 13 to 14, that he will punish the nations that enslave the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And of course, we talk about the state of Israel itself is very scared because it will be exposed in the end times based upon Revelation chapter 2 verse 9, Revelation chapter 3 verse 9, based upon Luke 21:24, Jerusalem surely will be trodden down of Gentiles. They will defy the city with LGBT flags, but they will continue to do that until the time of the Gentiles. And of course, the time of the Gentiles will continue until the time of the Antichrist, who will be destroyed by the Messiah, who comes at the same time to gather the Hebrew Israelites from the four corners of the earth. And so now you understand why principalities and powers are afraid of a black man being awakened, that he's a Hebrew Israelite. Now you are aware why Babylon, even Babylon, United States, is scared about the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. And now you know why the state of Israel is scared about the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. You know why the media is scared about the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites. But for the black man, for the black pastor, I want to let you know that don't be scared, because the truth will come out, and for lack of knowledge, you will perish. I recommend that you read the books written by Ronald Darton, Hebrews to Negroes, 4-volume book. For lack of knowledge, my people will perish. And the books written by Ronald Darton, Hebrews to Negroes, are on point. It's part of the awakening. Many people don't like him. They don't like his message because it is the strategy of Lucifer and the principality of and powers and evangelicals and pastors to destroy the message and the messengers. But they cannot stop the awakening, because the awakening of the Hebrew Israelites, per the scriptures relating to Zerubbabel, is not by might or by power, but the awakening of the Hebrew Israelite is by the Spirit of Elohim, that his children be awakened prior to the triumphal arrival of the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Messiah, who is coming to gather the outcasts of Israel and the dispersed of Judah. Thank you for watching this message. My email is raptureafrica@yahoo.com. Thank you very much.